and you are happy and feeling joy. Okay, so, all right, first I don't know if any of you know why this is called the Green Tara Group. And actually, Green Tara is a goddess of the Buddhists, okay? So she's a Buddhist goddess. And she represents the goddess of being guided by soul and doing the heart's desire. So there is nothing more apropos than that, because everything we do, we want to be guided by the soul, we want to feel connected, and we want to be able to do what our heart sings with, which usually is from the soul. So that's why we call this the Green Tara Group. That's a little bit of trivia for tonight. Now, a little bit about, for those of you who don't know who I am, I should tell you a little bit. I'm an international bestseller twice, and I have a new book coming out, Hello Soul. Surprise, surprise, we were just talking about the soul. I love that book. It's very different than my others, and I'm very excited. And then also I have a whole group called Soul Manifesto that I have founded. Incredible people who want to really start connecting and want to have that inner core peace and that inner wisdom and that feeling, that feeling that everything's going to be just fine, and because they're being guided. Okay, tonight in our Green Tara Group, oh, I should also say I also am a host of a #1 radio show that's also a podcast called Magical Moments. You can find that on Elena Chapman YouTube if you're interested in listening. Actually, we have some incredible, I am blessed. I get incredible guests, and it's #1 for a reason. And it's just been launched to Law of Attraction Network, and it's getting syndicated as we speak. More and more stations too, on top of being a podcast, it's a radio show. So enough of that. Now, let's talk about being in the now. Now, there's books written. Eckhart Tolle wrote a book on how to stay in the now, right? And also we talk about, stay present, stay present. And what do? We don't stay present. We know it's the key of things. We think it's the key of things. Do we really know why we want to stay present? And I'm going to tell you tonight, why is it we want to stay present? But we always are finding ourselves thinking in the future. And we have busy lives. You know, I find it funny because we just got over this coronavirus thing. Well, we're not even over it. I mean, some states are not open yet. Some countries aren't open yet. And, we had the perfect opportunity where the universe was just saying, slow down, and allow yourself to do the things that you've always wanted to do. Allow yourself to feel that peace. Allow yourself to form those deeper relationships. Allow yourself the time to meditate or to journey or to get yourself into a position where you know what you want. All of that was given to us, and all we did was panic. You found people overeating and Netflix, doing the marathon thing. You had so many people feeling very confused, scared they're going to get the virus, scared of this, scared of that. People lost their jobs, so their worry went over here. I don't think that I really have heard of very many people who stayed in the now, who really started to see the precious moments of every minute. So, like I said, we always talk about staying in the now, but so many of us don't. I know for a fact that there are so many women that I know who stay so extremely busy, and they do it on purpose so that they don't have to think. And they're always thinking forward, and they're always thinking about what should be done. And it keeps their mind occupied so that we don't have to think about the things that are really going on. We have people who just worry. My mom is an incredible worrier. She's a fear bunny, and she always has been. And she is cute. She sometimes says, I say, so how are you doing today? And she says, well, today I decided to worry. Okay, Mom. What do you do? She's my mom, you know? So this is the thing. When we do want to cultivate being in the now, okay? The now is probably the most precious time to be in. It is the only place that the universe can touch us. It's the only place that we can hear our guidance. Because if we start thinking of the future all the time, we're putting a cap on our connection, because we're over here. We're not here. We're over there. I've got to pick up the kids at 4. Oh my gosh, okay, but I also have to go here. Oh my God, I also have to go here. I also have to do this. I'm over here. There's no room. There's no listening. There's no open mind. There's no nothing, because you're not in the present moment. Okay? So, and the same thing, I'm worried about that promotion. Oh my God, how am I going to get a job? Oh my God, all that money. What am I going to do? I don't have any money. What am I going to do? I got to make money. I got to make money. I got to make money. That's how we sound in our minds. All right, we got to make money. But that's still over here. That's a cap. We just put a cap. And what we have to do is we're in our head. We're in our head when we do that. And we're in our head and we're flooding it with the problem. And that's why it caps us off. Because when you flood your head with a problem, that's all your head has room for. Okay, is it our fault? No, we've been trained to do that. You know, that constructive critical thinking. I never really thought about that until I watched my sons go to school. And I heard how they are just groomed for critical thinking. I one time even said to my youngest, I said, my gosh, everything you listen to is deconstructing. It's tearing things apart with critical analysis. Everything, a game, a concept, everything, just deconstruct it. But there's no building back up. We're taught to dwell on the problem, okay? So how do we get into the present moment? You know, I'm very fortunate because in my unconscious days, unconscious competent days, and I still do it, I have a wonderful gift where when I am with one, if I'm talking to you, I'm only talking to you. When I am conducting a choir, I am only there with that choir. When I'm in my car listening to music, I am only in my car listening to that music. I think I missed the conditioning growing up somehow. I must have been daydreaming or on one of my own personal journeys. So how do you cultivate that? Well, really, it's not as hard as you think. It's not a problem at all. And why do you want to do that? Well, like I said, it opens you up. It opens, sorry about that. It opens you up to the guidance. It's a lot more fun. And you know what? What I really love about being in the present moment is that the gifts that I receive from that present moment, whether that's talking to someone and really looking in and seeing the beauty of their soul, or having them to surprise me and they see the beauty of my soul. That's so cool, you know? and you start to make a real connection. Or because I get to meet real people. I get to meet, when I say real people, I get to really meet the people. When I go to the coffee shop, I know them. Why? Because I am present. I'm not thinking about, oh, I got to go find a table and get going to work. Yeah, I'll find a table and I am there to work. But meanwhile, I'm talking to you. And so I know they come back and they say, oh, Lena, I just tried for this scholarship or something. And they tell me about it. And the connection, I get to make real connections. Not only that, but that's how you produce the magic in everything that you do. If I'm too busy thinking over here, how can I create right here and make it the most magical it can be? And so it's fun. It's fun to be in the present moment because, well, because you're alive. You're fully alive and open and experiencing life in every second that it's here. And I'll tell you what I also like about it is that, sure, you know, I've had problems in my life. Oh my God. I mean, I have had situations in my life that I pray that no one ever has to live through what I did. But I also have to say that even during that time, when I stayed in the moment of whatever job I had to take at that moment, or whatever I had to do at that moment, being in the moment, well, what it does is it gives me a break from that other thing, that problem. Being in the present moment gives me a break from it. And that's when my connection gets stronger. While I'm talking to you, all of a sudden an idea might just come into my head. Or when I'm driving down the road, listening to my favorite song, wham, an idea just comes ringing into my head. What we have to understand is that the universe, God, guides, whatever, your angels, they know what you're going through. Spirit is omnipresent. Energy is omnipresent. It's everywhere. Of course it knows what's going on. But it's always trying to contact you. We are the ones that close it off. So those are the gifts of staying in the present. It's really much more fun, folks. Much more fun. So how do you cultivate it? Well, the worst thing you can do is say, I'm going to be in the present. I love it. Because as soon as you tell yourself you're going to do something, that little old monkey critical mind comes in and says, oh, no, you're not, Miss Elena, not today, because you've got this problem over here and you've got to solve this over here. It's like studying for a test. And as soon as you want to study for that test, oh my gosh, I got to vacuum. Oh, my dog needs a bath. Oh, I got to go garden. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. So I think the best way that I have found to be in the present is to allow myself to see the sacredness of each moment. For instance, if I'm going out to turn off the sprinkler in my yard, I don't just go simply out there and then I don't remember being there and coming back. That's in my head somewhere. Instead, when I walk out there, I look at the trees and I say, hello, trees, how are you today? You look so beautiful. Oh my gosh, this is such a glorious day. And hello to the birds. And I actually allow myself to put my toes in that grass and to feel the grass and the ground and the earth. And I always ask the earth to just surround me with stability and strength and beauty. And so I make that moment, just turning off the sprinkler, an incredible little symphony of sacredness. If I'm doing the dishes, I put the water on just the right temperature. I love, love, love water. I love to wash it over my hands. I love to see the dishes getting clean. And I always spend a little more money to get the wonderful soap that I love that smells so incredibly good. To me, it's worth it because it keeps me treating that moment sacred because I can just smell that beautiful essence. And you start to train your mind when you sit down to talk to a person. Don't just sit down and say, hi, how are you? And when they say fine, you say, great. You're not even there. They could have said, oh, I just got the swine flu and had malaria. And you'd say, oh, good. I've actually seen people do that. Oh my gosh. You know, we have a chance now to really connect. People are all coming out of the woodwork now with their masks, without their masks, and they want connection. They're just not sure how to do it. This is the perfect time to say, hi, how are you? And how are you surviving with these masks? That's a good opening just to start. And how I hope your family was always well. And before you know it, you can sit down and just start talking. You can, my gosh, when I was walking out of the store clerk, I now know all about her. And all I asked was, has it been a really busy day today? Oh my gosh, yeah, it's so beautiful. I said, well, do you get to go out soon? She said, oh yes, I got a half an hour. I said, oh, then you're gonna get to do some things. And she said, and she listed off all the wonderful things she's gonna do. Now she's like my best friend. Next time I go in there, we'll talk again. It's being in the present to see the gifts of other people. And that is when you start to grow. I also love it because then when I sit down to do a meditation, my mind's already trained. Or sometimes it's a meditation, most often it's a journey. And when I sit down, in fact, that's how I live sort of between veils. You know, I live sort of in a world that is not, sometimes I don't live totally in this one. I live on two different sort of. I know that's hard to understand for some people. But I can do that because I'm in the present moment. And it's so much more fun than worrying. When we worry and we have fear, it's a very slippery slope. I don't think we understand the severity of this extreme. I've had the privilege to watch people when they are getting older, such as my mom, when they have had all this untrained mind and letting it just go forward, and to have that worry and to have that constant anxiety, or to have that to do that constantly what I'm going to do in the future. And it's really funny because it's like it goes wild the older you get, and you actually get to the point where it alienates you because you're in your head. And when you're in your head like that and spinning, it's all about you. That's why it closes off the connection. It's all about you. It's you. And you start to alienate other people, even though you don't see it. I've seen it happen. I watch it. I see how they close themselves off because it's all about them only. And it's because that worry, doubt turns to fear. I'm not going to be able to get that done. Oh my gosh, I'm not going to be able to do this. And everything is about me. But when you're in the present moment, it's more about the moment. And that problem over there, it will get solved. I know it's there. And I'll deal with that when I'm in that moment. All right, so there are quite a few of you on. Who has a comment? Who has maybe something they're dealing with? Who has has tried using that sacred moment? Who would like to comment in any shape, way, or form about this topic? I'm leaving it kind of open. Mostly a question would be good. I think my phone, I don't have, Della, I don't hear anything on my phone. Let me see, I'm going to turn it this way so I can see. Okay. All right, and I'm going to go here. Okay. So does anyone feel like they would like to bring forward a question maybe? Okay, so you're all living in the present moment without a problem. And you're all treating it so sacred, and you celebrate every moment of your life. Is that correct? Oh gosh. All right, Della, could we undo the thingamajig so that people can come forward and talk if they want? Unmute them. Are you there, Della? I feel like I'm on an island. Let me see. So, Della, can you undo everyone's mute? Okay. I don't know where she is, and I don't know how to unmute you guys. Okay, that's mine. I have no power to do that. Okay, interesting. Oh, Della, can you unmute everyone? Oh, you're having connection issues. Is everybody else having connection issues? I wonder, that's interesting. All right, so.
Okay, I'm unmuted.
Is everyone unmuted? Okay, cool. All right, does anybody have a question? I was gonna start singing all by myself. That would have been fun. You'd get a concert. So who would like to talk?
Oh, Elena, this is Carolyn.
Hi, Carolyn. Yeah, honey, it's good to see you again. Or hear
Thank you.
Yes.
I try my best to live in the now. However, it's kind of difficult with things going as it is now, as we see in society, and I find myself having to meditate a little more,
Yeah.
and having to kind of go a little deeper.
Yeah.
And when I say meditate a little more, I mean more sessions. Like I usually do it in the mornings and then at night before I go to bed, but I'm having to have a midday meditation because I can kind of feel all the energy within the world.
Yeah.
That's going on, and I know everybody will get through it, but you just have to do what you have to do. But on the flip side of that, by having to do that, it's also helped me with other things.
Okay.
So I like that. But just to keep myself in the now and in the present.
Okay. So this is okay. You know, it's funny. I think to myself, believe it or not, that we are living in some of the most fascinating, changing times that, I mean, it's really incredible. I know a lot of people are thinking it's horrid, 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 but we are living in a time where things have been so turned weird, Band-Aids have been ripped off. This is a real opportunity. It's an opportunity to truly heal. It's an opportunity to truly get things where they should be instead of what we have tried to control. It's a good time. It's actually a good time for society to start to change. I'm very excited. It came about in not a good way, but many changes do not come in the best way. And but it was enough to unite people. So when I go to bed or when I look at the news, I'm thinking, this is an awesome time because more and more people are getting out there. More and more people are saying, hey, this needs to change. And more people are opening their hearts to something new. In Fort Wayne here, I was so heartened to see in the protests many white people. And I thought, yes, because it's going to take people starting to open their hearts on all sides to be able to make any massive change for the positive. So with this, I think what I'm trying to say, Carolyn, we can look at it. We can, who was it who said it? Well, my dad, but there was someone else. Was it, oh, the guy who wrote that book, that millionaire? In every catastrophe, there is an opportunity.
True.
And when it's the person who sees the opportunity that can make the massive change. So when you're looking at that news, you're gonna love this. I'm gonna say, turn off the damn news, just for a little bit. And instead, I would like you to keep up your little meditations, but this time, add a little bit of intention to it. And it's, how can I help in my own way to bring about the healing and the education and the equality in this world? How can I do it in my way, in my world? How can I bring that about? And that will take, that does a lot of things. Number one, it focuses your meditation. It definitely brings you in the now. It's taking that crisis in your mind and making it something you can now take power over and start to move forward in a positive way, which will cool down the angst, because angst is always because we don't feel power. So you will feel more of you'll also feel very much alive, because it'll be like the Tao says, an energy that just comes up from you. And it's a good, powerful, good energy because you're doing. And you'll feel like you're part of this incredible movement. It'll do a lot of things for you if you can, well, you can, if you want to do it that way. Okay?
Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah. It's really funny. I remember there was a time in my life when I didn't have any money whatsoever. I was almost homeless. I think I've told this story sort of. And I had to take a job. Well, I sat down and I said, okay, I need a job that's going to give me money now. And I ended up working for Citizens Action Coalition, which was hard frickin' work. And you go door to door getting donations, and you're usually petitioning something, some injustice from a powered company or something. Anyway, so it was it's a citizens' rights activist group, actually. But I got paid really, really well. And but it was, you know, I was out there from 2 in the hottest summer, 2 to 9 at night, walking neighborhoods. And so when I did that, though, I didn't think to myself, oh my God, I don't have any money. I'm living in this apartment. I have to redo it. That's how I'm able to live there. But if I don't make any money, I could make a problem. If I don't make any money tonight, I can't pay the bills, la, 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 and create this. I didn't do that. I said, my gosh, I'm doing this job. I am going to just really get people on board and get to know people. Every time I was dropped off, I would go to people's homes, and my job was to see what they needed. And it turned out I started within Citizens Action Coalition. I started to write down what people, I started to write down a whole different division that they started because I was writing down on top of just getting their signatures, what really was going on. And when Citizens Action saw it, they thought, oh my God, we've got to address this. We got to address this. But it's only because I took the time. You know what I mean? And I took the time to make that in the present moment, I blew it up. I mean, I took my little world and I made something bigger out of it. And I made money while I was doing it. It's, you gotta let go of the worry in order for God or universe or guides, whatever, to be able to intercept and help you. If you stay in the problem as a problem, if you stay in the crisis as a crisis, and you treat it as a crisis, which media helps you. I love the media, but I'll tell you what, I don't like the sensationalism. And also our president, oh my God, he's trying to desensitize us because every day there's another crisis. If you get lost in that, you'll spiral down. And that's where they want you, because a person who spirals down is not powerful. A person who spirals down will not protest. A person who spirals down will not vote. A person who spirals down will feel like a victim. You see? So if you allow yourself to fall into that crisis mode, whether it's on a social issues of our world or in your crises of your own life, you'll get swallowed up every time. You've got to remove yourself. And I just showed Carolyn how. And it's all it does is it starts with an intention of, what can I do? What can I do? And all of a sudden you went from this weird world of turmoiling down into the abyss of yuckiness into, oh my gosh, I'm alive, I have power, and I'm doing something, and I'm moving mountains with all my baby steps. Okay? That's really how you do it. Carolyn, thank you. That was an awesome question. I know that helped everybody on the call. That's a powerful one. That was a really powerful one. See? Okay, who else? All you people, I have a die, I have a number. I have people on this call in my direct little squares. I only get 4 squares at a time, so I can't really see. So who else would like to talk? Anyone?
Yeah, this is Della. Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay. Hello, everyone, and wonderful evening. I've learned about being in the now, because I used to be against, I used to be, I called myself a master multitasker. But then what I learned was when you're doing too many things, you lose out on the importance of the experience. And so, and this was like 30 years ago when I was young and viral. And so now in the world where everything is just a button away or a click away, and there's so many choices for everything, you know, it's an overload. And we get so wrapped up, like you were saying, in just the massiveness of everything and the busyness of everything, where our intentions, or my intentions, are good. But then when I reflect on that day or that experience, I've lost the essence of it because of the busyness around that, plus 10 other things that were going on in that moment. And so for me, you know, being in the now is so important now, because I don't want to miss out on any more important or meaningful adventures in life. You know, I've lost a couple of people that were very dear and near to my heart, and as you know, I sit in silence and meditate and some of those memories come back, you know, it brings smiles to my face. So I'm very conscious now, whether it's work or the kids or just even shopping, to be in that moment, like you were saying, and just so I can have the clarity, have the peace. And if it's an experience that's worth saving the memory when I choose to reflect back, because I don't want to get lost up in the crowd of activity in life, you know?
Yeah, yeah. I think,
And
you know, what really separates it is the sacredness. You know, when I'm, when things get all too much, they're not sacred.
true, very
And
true.
that's where I pull back. And I pull back. And Della, you've seen me do it. I pull back. I just say, well, wait a minute. No. No, because I can't see this clearly. And this is not where I need to be. And so I'll ask a question and then I'm done. And because it's not like I leave it not to, but until I get some clarity on it, I'm not going to worry about it. Until I see it move in another direction, I'm not going to worry about it. And that allows me to let it go so I can focus on the thing that is sacred, which was focusing on one thing, and that was getting a chapter done on the book, the second draft. So I'm in, and that I make very sacred. In fact, I have to open myself to channel. So when I do that, that is incredibly sacred. And then, but if I've got three things going, I try not. I'm a queen multitasker. I mean, I can multitask like crazy if I want to, and I was like that. I mean, I can do. You know, we all are. It's amazing what I can do. I think women multitask like crazy anyway. But here's the thing. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. It creates confusion in your mind. It creates an unbalance in your whole system. It doesn't create, and that imbalance then affects the calm and the centering inside. And so when you do not have that calm and centering, then all is lost. Then you're running around like a chicken with your head cut off and you don't know what you did that day.
Yeah.
Do you see? Now, that's why, Della, I always do that morning connection. And like this morning, I had to bring, oh my gosh. Now see, even I sometimes have a morning where I'm thinking, why in the hell am I doing this? But I had to bring my dog. I know it sounds little. I had to bring two dogs to the groomer. And I have my mother's dog, who right now is being so good. She barks at every little noise. It's, oh my God. And so I woke up in the morning. In fact, I was waking up all night because she barks at every little sound. But right now she's so all right, so all night I'm up with this barking dog, and then I have to take my two dogs to the groomers. And I got up late because I had been up all night with a barking dog that I'm trying to take care of while my mom is in rehab. And I am then driving with my beautiful big giant red dog. This is first thing in the morning. My big giant red dog and my little OC lovable but awful in the car, my little Cavachon, my Sammy, who's really crazy in the car. I mean, it's like you could strangle him, okay? So anyway, I'm coming from barking to screeching barking. And I thought, this really sucks. Anyway, so I got through it. Now, I could have gone two ways. I missed my morning connection. I was feeling frazzled. I was not happy. Even turning on music was not settling me down because I was really tired. So I'm thinking, okay, all right, we're not in a good place. We got to stop this. We got to break it. Like that. Got to break that energy. So I went and I got myself a latte. And I took 10 minutes. It was only 10 minutes. I went to a little nature preserve that I know, that I can just drive my car there and park and watch the herons fly in and everything else. And that's where I did my morning connection. And I thought, and after I did my gratitudes, I always do my gratitudes. Then I do a short meditation. How can I serve the best? And then I look at my day, and I usually write out my day, and I think, who do I want to be during this day? Well, I didn't want to be the frazzled woman I was right then, ready to strangle a dog. So I went back and I went back and I did my morning connection. And then I thought, okay, all right, breathe. You're in a place where you don't want to be. So where do you want to be? And I thought, I want to feel that calmness. I want to feel in control of my day. I want to enjoy and savor every moment. And then I got very quiet. I had my little latte. And then that's how I got myself back on track. Do you see? We all have days where things are just incredibly nuts. And what I'm trying to say, Della, is you have to stop and set the intention of who do you want to be during the day? What do you want to feel like at the end of the day? And who do you want to be when you are doing these different things? Okay? And it's funny, when you start to set that intention, all of a sudden, things in the day start to line themselves up in a way that you can be that person. It's amazing. It's amazing. And so really, you've got to break the energy. So clap it, go get a cup of tea or whatever you like, kabachi or whatever they're called, they're good too. And then sit down and think, who do I want to be? Write down the jobs you still have left. Okay, how do I want to proceed with these? How do I want to handle them? And who do I want to be as I'm doing it? Okay? And all of a sudden, stuff will start becoming sacred again and in the present. Does that help?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Good. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. So how many of you have tried it when you're in that moment of that sacredness? How many of you found how the magic starts to come into the life? You know, like things will happen that you thought, whoa, how'd that happen? Or, yeah, mostly that, where you have really found that everything just starts to line up. It's like the stars in the heavens line up and everything's right there and it goes, meets together with you. How many of you have had that incredible experience yet?
Yeah, I've had that experience. And I like that experience. I want to hold on to it.
Yeah. And how about D or die or DL? Or you're happy just watching. That's okay. Yeah. And Carolyn, what about you? Have you experienced that?
Yes, I have.
Okay. Well, now it's time not to just experience it, but to frickin' live it. Okay? And you can. I know you can. I've done it. And it's just always feeling like everywhere you go, I am in that moment. Now, if that moment's going to uncenter you, Carolyn, then that's when you have to step back and say, wait a minute, is that the moment I really want to be in? No, I want to be in where I have some power.
Yeah.
Where I can make positive changes. I can move forward. So I'm going to take this back up, look at it in a different way, find the opportunity and move forward in that way. That's treating the moment just as sacred as if you were right in that moment, protesting or whatever else. Do you see? When we create what we want to create in our lives. So if we want that feeling of feeling rushed, we will create it. But if we set the intention that we want to feel in control, we want to feel like we're bringing our very best, that we want to savor every moment and bring the magic alive, then that's exactly what you'll get. It really is. And it's so much fun. It's so, so, so much fun. I think, whose wonderful little grandchild is there, or child?
Yeah, that's my grandchild.
Oh my gosh, how cool. So, you know, it's funny, I'm trying to remember back, you know, when I was conducting, I guess that's the only thing I can think of right now, that story. When I was conducting, and I remember I was conducting, I had 5 choirs, I think 5 or 7. And I was really, really busy, and I was getting my doctorate, and I was teaching voice, and I was also had all these choirs. And I remember I would walk into a choir. I had being in the present moment, no matter what was going on in my life. When I was with that choir, I was with that choir. And the things that would happen and the incredibleness that I had with other people. Like one time I had this choir where it was a church choir, and the tenors were always trying to fool me. They wanted to see if I could catch the wrong note. And I was a new conductor. So they were always trying to sing a wrong note, but they would do it real soft to see if I could catch it. Well, I caught them every time. But you know how I caught them? When they sang the wrong note, their eyebrows would go up. So, you know, but if I was in my head thinking, oh, this piece has to be really, really good for church on Sunday. Oh my gosh, we gotta get this right. I wouldn't notice the really special moments like that. You know, we got such a good laugh. He goes, how do you always know? I said, well, your eyebrows always go up. And then they try so hard to, you know, get their eyebrows to go down. So it's those moments that you remember. Those are the moments that you treasure, you know? That's the moments that, or when my college choir, you know, I remember when, oh my God, I remember that time I was going through a really hard time, but I had this wonderful early music choir. And when they sang, and what we were able to do with their voices, what I was able to help them do, I remember when they sang a Christmas concert, I was in tears. It was so magical. It was so special. And it just helped me, it just brought me right up to the spectacular miracle of the universe and God. And if I had been thinking about my problems, I would have missed that miraculousness. Do you see? We have to, I can't stress how important it is to, when you enter into doing something, you leave the garbage behind. You will have time. That garbage is always going to be there. But I'll tell you what, you hear the miraculous like I did on that day when I got to hear that beautiful choir, and it brought me up there. When I went back to my problems, guess what? They weren't so bad. It changes you. The moment, being in the now, changes you. When you go to deal with something, it's not half as bad as you thought in the beginning. And that's a cool thing. Start treating things with the sacredness. We're given these moments. These moments are truly ours. And every single moment, we can change whatever we want to change. Incredible, isn't it? But you got to be present to do it. Okay? All right, I'm going to say if there are any other questions, we're coming to a close, so I want to make sure. Is this a chat? I got to always see. Yeah, there's a chat. Who's in the chat? Sorry, have an 8 p.m. call, but nice listening. Oh, that was nice. Thank you, hon. I don't know, who was that? But anyway, I'm glad they were there. All right, guys. So is everybody set and everybody had their questions answered, or anybody have anything else to say?
I'm good. I'm good. I enjoyed it.
I'm so glad. Okay. Oh, and just so you know, guys, pretty soon I have a wonderful, it's going to be a free course. It's a 7-day. Now wait, I gotta remember what it's really titled because it's a long title. 7-Day Reset for Your Inner Peace.
Ooh.
And I'm hoping you'll all do it because it's good.
It's
If it wasn't
needed.
good, I'm pretty honest. If I don't like it, I'll tell you. I like this because it really does help you to get that inner peace through the 7 days. And you can do it for 7 days and you see little pieces. I give you all the tools for 7 days. Then the next week, you're conquering it. And I love that. So that's coming up. I will let you know when it's really available. Okay? There's a lot going on in Soul Manifesto. Cindy has just entered the waiting room. Della, you're going to have to let her know that she kind of missed it, but we want her on next time. Okay?
I will.
Yeah, and tell her we're really sorry because we really wanted to have her be a
Yeah.
part of this group. You know, make her feel welcome because, yeah, she is. All right, guys. Remember that it's love. Love of the moment, love of the connection, love of ourselves. That is spirit. And spirit is love. Okay? If you remember that, you will treat it sacred. Have a wonderful night, everyone. I love you. Bye-bye.
You too. Good night.
Bye-bye.